Peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, divine heirs. Today is February the 16th, 1442 on the ancient moon calendar, 1443 on the ancient sun calendar, and 2023 on the Greco-Roman civil calendar. All rise and stand and remain standing into perpetuity. This is a sovereign, living, ancient, Article 3, Moorish American, Al-Moroccan, court, universal court action. We are the sovereign living justices. I am sovereign living justice Pauline Denise Ritchie. My free chosen sovereign appellation is like Tajiri Bay. All are in capitis diminutio nolo, in red ink, in proprio persona sum juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredes. All Moors are the original indigenous, sovereign, ancient Al-Moroccan, Moorish American ascendants of the great pharaohs of Kemet and of the ancient Moabites and Canaanites, and all others that the Moors identify as. Our full faith and trust, our allegiance, our credit, and our energy are hereby vested in ourselves, for we are the people who are the original indigenous, natural divine, sovereign, ancient empire state from Morocco. We're the de jure Moorish National Republic federal government. We are ancient Washington District 4 Columbia. We're the Universal Moorish American Consulate and the Article 3 Moorish American Consular Court. Today, we are executing and exercising the law by our sovereign status, which is the original indigenous, natural divine, sovereign, ancient, Article 3, living United States District 4 Columbia Court, and we are the sovereign fiduciaries, creditors, executors, trustees, ministers, possessors, and titled beneficiaries in this cause for action. We are peace. We are one nation, to include our subjects. We are one state, one empire, and one God. We hereby recognize ourselves, and we recognize our subjects, and accept our sovereign ascension. We issue a universal creditor's bill for possession and custody over all judgment debtors. We exercise all sovereign rights at this time and at all points in time, nunc pro tunc. If you all would get a screenshot of this that's on the screen so that you can share this information. We're going to have to depend on you to share the information because we do not have access to our Facebook page anymore, and we're not going to pursue access. So, and we'll explain with a demonstration that we are going to discuss briefly why that is. So if you all would take this information and share it, and let me say this about it. First, we are having the State of the Original Indigenous Union address, State of the Union address, Thursday, February 23rd, 2023 on the Greco-Roman civil calendar, 7 p.m. Eastern, entitled We the Republic Are Risen, and the dial-in information is listed on the screen. Please screenshot it and share it across your information pages, your communication pages, so that all can know. And let me make it clear that we are still not claiming leadership over people. We are all the presidents, okay? So we will all be speaking next Thursday, February 23rd, 2023, at the State of the Original Indigenous Union address, those who choose to speak. And what we will do is I'll give an introductory presentment, and then we will do as usual, share with all the presidents. So anything that they want to bring forth about this, the state and where we are, Islam. Successful demonstration testament. I have a successful demonstration testament that I want to share with you. We've been watching these demonstrations and doing them ourselves. And again, as we stated in the past, we did not know what successful demonstrations look like until we actually started demonstrating and then seeing the results of those demonstrations and then saying, okay, that's a success. So the cellular phone demonstration that we did was a complete success, actually. It just took us a minute to look at the results, to keep working, and to realize what actually happened. So when we did the cellular phone demonstration, what we did was we were saying we're not going to pay fiat for communication. We're not going to do that because we can communicate with each other on these devices freely, okay? And so Islam, just one moment. We will do that, Empress, thank you. So what we did was we placed a lien and a court action and used our sovereign authority to tell those that were previously doing business as Boost Mobile and Virgin Mobile, etc., that we are the CEOs for Boost, for communications, okay? And so all we did was remove the quote-unquote service aspect of the phone. And it's not even a phone, it's a communication device. So we had to change the name of what we call it and then use it. And so once we did that demonstration, the thing that we called cellular phone service went away. So everyone who was using cellular phone service to connect with us, they could not do that anymore. However, our phone did what it was supposed to do initially, and which is what phones did from the beginning anyway, which is connect to the internet, not the World Wide Web, because the World Wide Web is commercial. The internet is public. And so our service went to public service by way of WhatsApp application, which is a fiat-free application. We don't use fiat to access that. And so the identification number for my communication device is the same sequence of numbers as was the U.S. cellular phone, but without the dashes. So I've nationalized the service, okay? And so it's the same thing that we've done with Social Security numbers and birth certificates and things like that. All of that stuff that was issued by the dead United States Corporation Company, we placed a lien on it, took away the ability to use anything against us, and then we created our own. And so the numbers, the sequence of numbers in the quote-unquote Social Security number stays the same, but it now becomes our state security number or our sovereign security number. So the internet application is what the phone is based on, is the communication device uses in order to connect. And the thing about it is, before, when I was using it as a cellular phone service, I could not call Canaan land. I couldn't call Egypt. I couldn't call the UK. I couldn't call the Congo. I couldn't call France. I couldn't call other parts of the land without some exorbitant charge, fee, control mechanism being placed on what I was doing. But now I can communicate with everyone, no matter where they are. UK, the islands, I can communicate with anyone earthwide without paying any fiat by way of WhatsApp. So, there are other applications that are internet-based, such as Duo and others. So, my communication ability is much more far-reaching now than it was when I was paying the fiat. So, it took us a moment to look at that and recognize it for what it really is and see that it really is, that demonstration actually worked even better than we expected. So we would encourage everyone to just do that demonstration as well, because again, the boundaries disappeared when we did the demonstration. And yes, I was concerned about my family being able to communicate with me, but my family, my kin, my clan, the Ritchie clan, and those that are in my clan can still connect with me by way of WhatsApp. We can create family clan groups and speak to each other freely as often as we choose. We can send photos back and forth, texting, links, all of that freely. So we have to know what a successful demonstration looks like, because we did not know when we did that demonstration what the outcome was going to be in terms of the service, but we knew that the ancestors were not going to leave us without communication, because our ancestors communicated. And they used advanced communications. We're still just trying to catch up with our ancestors and the communications they use. So with that being stated, I would encourage you to do the demonstration and then switch over once you do the demonstration, because there's a difference. I'm sure there's a difference between WhatsApp corporate and WhatsApp the way we use it. Okay? Hold for just one moment. Okay? Just one moment. Okay. So all right. So excuse me for that interruption, brief interruption. So now my communication device is on the public internet and not the U.S. corporate, commercial, private, World Wide Web. The jurisdiction for my communication device is not the same as the U.S. cellular phone. This communication device is now earthwide and franked, which is free. The only limit is the space on the communication device, which can be remedied by cloud storage or backing up data on another device or deleting data after backup. So that means it's really not a problem. As for updating the device, that process will manifest shortly, at which time we will share the information. This is remembering of our systems. And I know that we're being led to our ancient ways. We're being led step by step. So this is most likely not the last step in this process, but I see that all I had to do was demonstrate and trust. Demonstrate and trust. Trust the ancestors, and that word is a financial term. Trust is financial. And so breaking trust with corpses and corporations that are foreign, and then putting trust in what we do. So now I would like to okay. So somebody else did that. Somebody else did that. Somebody else did that. I don't know who did it. Did you do that? Okay, that's right. Okay. Okay, so I wanted to show you briefly, and we do have a presentment today by the Empresses that we want to go ahead and get to. But I want to show you first just a couple of things about the phone, the telephone service, and the things that we need to know as we make this transition from services to public works and to government work and to things that are not fiat driven. Okay. So I looked up telephone company, and it said it used some interesting language. You can kind of see where they changed things around. It says a telephone company, also known as telephone service provider, because see, it's, you know, either it's a company or it's a service provider. Okay, either or, not both. Telecommunications company or telecommunications operator is a kind of, and when you see the word kind of, that means that's not the same thing. Kind of means it's different, such as mankind is different from man. Okay, it's a kind of communication service provider, more precisely a telecommunication service provider. This is them changing the language from what it originally was meant to be to something else. But I want to call your attention to a few things here just really quickly. Many telephone companies were at one time government agencies. Okay, and when telephones provisions are or telephone communications are done by us, we're the government, then those communications then take on a different jurisdiction than privately owned or state regulated monopolies. Okay, but this is the part I wanted us to all take note of. It says the government agencies are often referred to primarily in Europe, quote unquote, as PTTs or postal telegraph and telephone service, which means everywhere that there's a post, that the post office can go, these services can go as well. Okay, that's government, and that's why us being government, continuing to govern our vast estate is very, very, very important. Okay. It says here, in the past, most TSPs were government-owned and operated in most countries due to the nature of capital expenditure involved in it. And there's that word capital again. That means who's controlling it? Who's controlling it? And then if you will look here, this is the Edison Bell Telephone Company building from 1896. And clearly that's a Moorish building, okay? So I wanted to bring that to your attention and give that testament. The moral of that demonstration is that we determine our level of freedom by the choices that we demonstrate. We've always been free. We've always been free. It was just the choices that we made that determined how free we were going to be. Today, my communication is free. It is franked, free, because I can speak to anyone, anywhere, at any time, and there's no fiat exchange going on for that. And I asked myself today, how long will this go on? How long will I be able to do this freely? Well, forever, if that's what I choose to do. Forever. Or until we present the next level in communication, and we will at some point. So I wanted to bring that forth. And again, it is by our choices that we determine how free we're going to be. Okay? So the communication device demonstration was an absolute 100% success. I've not missed any calls or anything in doing that demonstration. I just needed to be able to see that, okay, this is what success looks like with a communication device demonstration. And that is what all of our demonstrations are going to look like. Okay? Part 2, money cometh to she who saves, counts, and manages or governs money, land, commerce, and natural resources well. That demonstration that I did with the communication device is indicative of better management of resources. Okay? Better management of resources means I'm not going back and forth every month with subjects about a phone service. Okay? But I'm still able to communicate using the same device, same sequence of numbers, but on my own terms, doing it the way that we know we are supposed to be doing things. Okay? And so that is the beginning. Just that fiat not going back and forth, that demonstration means that any resources, because now it's not even fiat that I'm dealing with, it's sovereign credits that I have. And now those sovereign credits can be used and governed for something better, something more. I mean, just imagine for those who quote unquote pay cell phone bills every month, imagine what you could do with that. That could actually be your first fruits to yourself. That could go into savings. So tithes, savings. Tithes is nothing but savings, okay? Tithe, in the church, they taught us tithes and offerings went into the church budget, okay? For us, we are God, so God does, the tithes go to God. The offering is savings above the initial tithe. That's what offering is. So what have we done? We've begun putting those credits into savings, okay? So tithes and offering go to you, the gods, first and foremost, always. The second thing about first fruits is, something that we kind of got away from, planning meals for the 7-day cycle. Make a list for those meals. Stand on that list, because that's another way that we're going to increase what we're doing with our sovereign credits. Third, claim, secure, and take great care of what you currently have in your possession, to include your body, your temple, in preparation for greater. All we're doing is laying a strong foundation for the wealth and the abundance that's waiting to come and park itself right at our home, okay? 99% of the most successful demonstrations thus far, to include the cellular phone demonstration or the communication device demonstration that I did, contained the following documentation. Nationality, name change and judicial proclamation, that's what that is. Termination of all U.S. corporation company or United States corporation company, the dead one, debtor contracts. Moorish National Republic Federal Government Trust Proclamation, just stating that we have a national trust, we have a universal trust. Our trust is original and indigenous, and everyone at Earth is in that trust. And when I say everyone, all of the all caps and all the subjects, and then the sovereigns govern that trust. Okay? We're just looking at the models that were done beforehand and saying, okay, this is where this came from. They did it like this. We're to do it this way. Okay? So we put our sovereign nature and nationality on everything that we do. Universal Commercial Code 1 lien affidavit on the nom de guerre and the Social Security number. And let's put U.S. for that, for both of those, because those are foreign. Universal Commercial Code 1 lien affidavit on the U.S. corporation company. That was the foreign one. Okay. Moorish National Republic Federal Government fiduciary affidavit. That takes care of the capitalism. Or if you choose not to participate in capitalism, then you don't have to participate. And we'll talk about that some more over the next few days and weeks as well. Gold-backed Moorish sovereign dollarium money currency. We already sent that forth as well with all of our affidavits that we put. We sent some dollarium on this with this communication device demonstration, as well as many other demonstrations that have been done by me and other Moors. An accepted for value affidavit with indemnis facier or bond insurance. Okay. A U.S. corporation company bankruptcy affidavit stating that that other dead U.S. corporation company is bankrupt. We're the original states united, and we are solvent. 10, removal from office by fiduciary affidavit. That's on corporate letterhead, and it's actually our corporate letterhead. Any other documents as per the will of the government, the gods, the people. We are an entire nation of gods. We are an entire nation of emperors and empresses. Okay? Our whole nation is filled with presidents. Our whole nation is filled with governors. Okay? And so what we're doing now is making it so that as we move forth and rid ourselves of that fiat system, that we do it, and we're taking it a step at a time. We're taking it just moving through piece by piece and taking it one step at a time. Okay, so that we, as we move through, and again, out with the old, in with the new. Out with the old, in with the ancient. Okay, so part 3, and I just want to run through 6 things really quickly so that we can get the empresses and their presentment forth here today. Number 4, part 3. There are some things that are manifesting in alignment with what we have stated on the public record. On January the 5th, 2023, we voted into law an edit to the 5th Amendment, takings clause, is now the takings law, that we stated that everything that is public cannot be made private without just compensation and due process. And due process means it comes through our court. And so what we were stating is, for example, things like national parks and things like that, they all had do not trespass and private property and all of that stuff on there. Okay. Lands out there that everywhere throughout our territories, there were lands that belonged to us, the people, that had private property signs posted up and things like that. We did a demonstration where we went on to one of those that had that private property sign, and sure enough, 2 seconds later, someone came, a corpse came saying that's private property. Now it wasn't even hers, quote unquote, because none of it is. But it was a place where it had a public bench and all of that, and it had private property there. And that's when the ancestors said, okay, you all have to go ahead and fix that. And so we voted on January 5th that nothing public can be made private without going through our courts. And sure enough, Moors, when we say something and we put the law on the public record, listen and just know this, that when we speak as one like we've been doing, there are no options except to do as we have commanded on this land. And so I want to show you where that is starting to take hold and set the stage and command. They're saying, and this was a story, and I'll put the link to the story in the chat, is that it is illegal to put no trespassing signs on public property. Illegal. Now, it was unlawful from the beginning, okay, to put a no trespassing sign on a place where we would get sea salt, or some place that we would go to find whatever natural resources that we find, so that we can use them to grow our nation and to heal ourselves and to make ourselves well, etc. And so we put that law on the public record, and sure enough, it is now illegal on our lands, and that's earthwide. It's not just in Cheyenne, Wyoming, etc. Okay, it's earthwide. No one's going to be claiming that we're trespassing on our own land when we go onto our land, because we voted it into law. We made it the law. Okay? So take note that this is being done, and yes, we know that there's some might say fear might creep in and programming might creep in, and with people saying, oh, what if the foreigners go out there and whatever. Don't worry about that. First and foremost, we needed to put the law on the public record that the land belongs to the people. Well, who are the people? The people is the Moors and their subjects on this land. That's who. Okay? And our subjects are family. We know what the word family means. Subjects are our family. Look that word up so you'll know what it means. Family means our help. Okay? And so we want to be sure that that is made clear that as we vote into law, this is why we take the time to vote. This is why we take the time to do the things that we do. And then we say, okay, let's watch and see. Let's look and see and make sure that our commands are being implemented and obeyed. Obeyed, really, because we activate and implement our own commands. Okay. So now, how do we access our government spaces? Because this question came up in our last call, and I knew that our ancestors would answer the question and show us what to do. So we're talking now about, really briefly, office space. Okay? We're talking about courtrooms. We're talking about government buildings and structures. So how do we access our government spaces? It says here, the law requires the General Services Administration to provide office space and other core support to President-elect and Vice President-elect, as well as pre-election space and support to major candidates but also to the government, period. Okay? And this statement here, we're stating it. This statement came from a presidentialtransition.org act, which we make this the law at our territories, and we actually made it the law for our state. It's been a while since we talked about General Services Administration, because we are the services, not anyone else, okay? So services are our responsibility as well. And so we are going to be, in the coming weeks, looking at the GSA process so that we can start moving into the government buildings and structures that already belong to us, and using the resources there that are available for us. Okay, we just needed to know the process. Okay, and that process, we know the processes, they're already out there. We just have to look at them, state them, and then demonstrate them. That's how we do it. So for those who are the justices who find it, who already know that they belong in a courtroom on the bench, judging and being justices as we are, we'll be looking at courthouses. We'll be looking at, Capitol buildings and so on and so forth. So there is a method to what we're doing. There's a method. And then as we're doing this, we're going to be looking at the process of bringing in support and hiring and helping and assisting and services and all of that, okay? But we're using our money system to do it, because that's why we're providing the service, because we can accept whatever money system we put in place, okay? So we'll talk more about that in the coming weeks. Again, we're going to be putting all of that in place. Really quickly, we talked about, some have been mentioning the common law. What is the difference between the common law and the supreme law for the land? And I started to ask that question and then just open the table and let us discuss it, and we can still do that. I want to save plenty of time for the empresses to do what they have to do, and yield the floor to them, yield the table to them, actually. So the difference between the common law and the supreme law for the land is that the common law draws only one great line between things under seal and things not under seal. Okay? So this is what makes our seals, our right red thumbprints, our government seals and stamps so important, is that anything out there is just an act until we seal it and put our right red thumbprint and come together and agree on it, like we've been doing, okay? And we can see the results of that, okay? We just showed you several results of what happens when we put the law on the public record together, okay? So the common law is some things that, and it's not really even the law unless it comes from us. The common law is what we state, and we seal it with our word. Our word is the bond, is the seal. But then we write it and we seal it formally and officially, and then it becomes a part of the written law. It is written, it is written, it is written. Everything that we say, everything that we state is the law, okay? And so, and let me just say this, look at this more quickly. Parole agreements, such as are either by word of mouth or are committed to writing but are not under seal. That's the only thing that will put someone on parole, is they're working off of documentation that has not been put under seal. So then when the Moors are saying, we've had a couple of Moors come and say, they said I have to be on parole and all this and that. Well, wait a minute. Who is they? Who are they talking to? And who are you? And have you put your status under your seal? Have you put the law under your seal? That's where the term holding someone under your thumb. When you put them under your thumb, or put that system under your thumb, because see, we're talking about putting systems under our thumb. We don't put living beings under our thumb. We put systems under our thumb so that the law is fulfilled. Islam. So for those who have been told that, first you need to know that their capitalism is not yours. Okay, your capitalism is yours. Your person is yours. Your person that you create. Okay, and then really quickly, part 5. Question: why do we do court actions for bills and other U.S. corporation company debt mailings? Why do we do that? And I'm going to put the Congressional Assembly on. Let me change the status from lecture to just one moment, to mute all so that we can, just one moment. So if you know the answer to this question, please speak, or if you want to take a wise guesstimation. Why do we do court actions for bills and other U.S. corporation company debt mailings? And you can star 6 to unmute yourself.
Islam.
Islam, Empress.
We do court actions because the original postmaster was the Moors, as you know, we always were everything at the beginning. And so bills and U.S. corporation debt mailings, that's the dead. So we have to make sure we state it and make sure they know that they have no personal jurisdiction and do the court action. And so that's why we do court actions for bills and other, because they have to stay there, because we don't accept another man's person, nor do we give flattery titles, nor do we have debt.
And so, teach, Empress.
Yes,
teach. Now, teach. So now, yes, absolutely, 1,000,000,000% yes. So we've been stating to do court actions for everything. For everything, do court actions. That was what the ancestors said. They said, when you speak, it's court, period. When you speak, it's court, period. Unless you're speaking to, of course, you know, we're our loved ones and our clans, etc. Yes, indeed, I will open. It's unlocked for him to come, for those that are waiting. So this is why we have mailing locations and all of that. The address stated on a bill is part of the description of the court in which the bill is filed. Bills are court actions. And here's something that we needed to know is that if they were calling it a bill, it was still an international bill for exchange. This is from Black's Law Dictionary for the word address. Address is the place where mail or other communications will reach person, not people. Mailing locations reach people. An address is for a person. Well, whose person is it? In equity, an address is the part of a bill wherein is given to appropriate and technical description of the court in which the bill is filed. So they're looking for appropriations. They're looking for something, and we talked about appropriations. All appropriations start first from the Constitution, and really from our status, because we wrote the Constitution and then gave it to everyone else to keep order on the land. But an address is part and parcel of the bill wherein is given the appropriate and technical description of the court in which the bill is filed. They were saying, we're filing things in your court. What say ye? And when they're filing things in a court, then the judge must speak. And it's even considered legislation. Where legislation is concerned, an address is a formal request addressed to the executive body by one or both branches of the legislative body, requesting him to perform some act. So when they give the State of the Union address, they're saying, what does the body say? Or what do the heads of the body, say? And so that is what a State of the Union address is all about. It's filing in the court. It's filing in the court. Empress Camellia, we don't remove heirs from our court. This is a court, and court decorum is the order for the day. So, and the Moors know that. We all know that. You're aware of that. So we just keep order in the court. So because again, even now, this is court. This is still court. We didn't remove you. Sometimes the platform does that. Okay, the platform will do it. Sometimes it's because of bandwidth on the internet and so on and so forth. So we don't do that. We only remove those who are, saying things all this, instead of it being this is a court, and court, courts, that there's a way to express in a court, at court, Islam, and we want to honor our courts. Our courts are the highest courts at earth. So honor is necessary from all of us, myself included. And so I wanted to point that out. And then it says here, it is provided as a means for the removal of judges deemed unworthy, though the causes of removal would not warrant impeachment. It is not provided for in the Constitution of the United States, and even in those states where the right exists, it is exercised but seldom. And in reality, again, that's not necessarily true. It is provided for in the Constitution because there is appropriations attached to an address. An address is used to appropriate. That is why we restate our address. Okay, addresses, there's nothing wrong with an address. It just needs to be restated by the sovereign heirs. Whoever's in control of the money can control the appropriation. Who's in control of our money? We are. We all are. And that's why we send Delarium with all of our documentation and everything that's going out. We send Delarium because, again, an address is part of a bill wherein is given to the appropriate and technical description of the court. Yes, an address is part of the court, Islam. So, and then finally, part 6, I want to bring this up really quickly, and then we're going to turn the table. We're going to yield the table to the empresses. Can anyone tell me what this looks like to you? What is this reminiscent of? What does it remind you of? Just anyone, take a guess. What does that remind you of?
Chainmail.
Islam, it looks like chains.
It looks like what?
Chains.
Chainmail.
Chain. Indeed.
Armor.
Indeed. Indeed.
Serpentine.
It reminds you of, yes, it does look like scales. It looks like chains.
Tire
Yes.
tracks.
It looks like tire tracks.
Tire treads, yeah.
That's good, because that's good. I hadn't thought about it from that perspective, but that applies.
It looks like
My
weaving
hair,
or
Islam.
crochet.
Empress Shasha, you said what it looks like what?
Weaving, crochet, knitting.
Yes, it does. It does. Empress Cynthia, you said what did you say, Empress Cynthia?
My hair.
Yes, indeed. Oh, come on with it. Come on with it. Yes, it does. It does. Yeah. There's one response that I have not heard that I'm waiting to hear. Also,
Serpentine
yes to
chain.
all that was stated.
7 o'clock.
It said serpentine chain. Yes, we heard that one. That's true. It does look like scales.
Tracking.
Islam.
Islam
The
nobility. Huh?
The yin and yang symbol.
It does look like the yin and yang symbol. It looks like a bunch of them put together. Yes.
It could be the flow of water. It's kind of like, the flow,
Yes.
the ripple.
Yes.
Love.
Yes, Empress. Yes. Yes. Anyone else? Yes. Our hair, yes, in the chat, Empress Nabi. Skin, Justice Rahim. Yes, it does look like that too, kind of, sort of, depending on what kind of skin you're talking about. Okay, does it, and Justice Malik, he said frequency vibrations. Yes, that too. Oh, this is so good. This is so good. Wait till you hear what it really is. Because all of that is what it is really.
Mermaid tails.
It looks like scales, mermaid tails. That's what it looks like.
Going into the water and the tail up in the top.
Yes, indeed. Yes. I have a question. Does it remind, yes, Justice, why not? Says connection. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
To me, like yarn, like weave yarn.
Yarn. Yes, it does. Does it, Islam, Justice Kansu?
Looks like faces of the moon put together.
Say again?
Phases of the moon put together.
I cannot hear you.
Just a second. Let me turn this.
Justice Malik said link.
Look like faces of the moon put together.
Oh, pieces of the moon put together?
No, he said phases.
Phases of the moon put together, yes. Yes, it does look like the crescent moon linked. Ooh, that's so good, Justice Consul. That's really good because it's just going to fit right in. Yes. Does it look like a DNA link at all? Or it bears some of the characteristics of a DNA link, a DNA chain?
That was good.
What'd you say, Empress? Islam. Okay. So now, all of those responses were correct. Okay. Let me show you where I got this photo from so that we can discuss just briefly. It came with the definition of the word male. M-A-I-L, mail. Okay, mail. And then look at the modern English is they spell it M-A-I-L-E or M-A-L-E, like man, like male. M-A-I-L-L. And then Old French is male or male. And it means a link or a mesh. From the Latin macula, macula, a spot, mesh of a net, macula. Macula is part of a document that, for example, those that are from Mexico, quote unquote, and we'll just call it that for now, they have a document that they use to get across the border that has the word macula in it. We talked about that document. It's like a passport. And macula is a female word. It's a female word. Ma, mother, kula. And so this word male, when we think about the word male and what male is, let's just read these definitions. One of the parts of a coat of mail as a scale or link. That's obsolete, they say. So they say. So a coat of mail. A flexible body of armor made of small overlapping metals, rings, loops of chain, or scales. Any defensive armor. So all of those things that you all talked about, that you named as what that photo looked like, could be used as a defensive armor. Mail, in zoology, the hard, bony, or chitinous covering of some animals as the shell of a turtle or of a lobster. And then the verb transitive is to cover or protect with, as with mail. To cover or protect with. And then male here, Middle English is male, and then mala in Latin is a wallet. Old High German, malaha, malha, okay, or a wallet, okay? And then this is where you get into letters and bills. Now, we just talked about up here, the address being part of a court, okay? So how you send your mail is also indicative of the court that it's coming from. Mail, a bag, a piece of baggage, which means a vessel. Archaic, a bag or packet of letters transported by post. Letters, papers, packages handled and delivered, transported and delivered by the post office. So when you get something that's coming in the mail to your court and you restate it and send it back, that automatically makes you the postmaster when you use the sovereign affidavits, government affidavits, and then you can even turn around and do the national post office in a corporate version so that it's in a language that they understand. And look here, mail, a person, or especially a boat, a train, etc., that transports letters, packages, etc. The system. So not only is mail a person, it's a system. And the person that uses that system must identify themselves as such. In other words, we don't accept anyone else's person because we're not accepting their system. When we created our own person, Morris, we were creating our own system then. The fiduciary document that we put under all these videos creates the system by which we can do anything we want to do, including travel. Because look, a person, or especially a boat, train, etc., that transports. So we can use our all caps to transport ourselves across our vast estate. Okay? And we pay the bill with our money. And guess what? The system honors that. We just needed to state it properly. Male, a coat that links us together, i.e. the coat of many colors. Now, let's think about that for just a moment, because we honor everyone. We honor everyone. Everyone, including those that we thought that they were trying to make them out to be bad guys, which is modern Europeans, trying to pit us against each other. But that's not happening here. It's not happening here. We are peace. We're peace. We're peaceful with everyone, with each other. And that means Moors, nation to nation, more to more, we're peaceful. And then when it comes to all others, we're peaceful. Okay? And they are part and parcel of the vast estate as well. Okay? So this photo right here is why, because it is a connector, because male is a connector, that word, that is why we are called, we the matriarchs, who give the DNA, who are the link for all the nations, because all the nations are linked through us. That's why we were called male. That's why we were called X-Men. And if you pick up the book called Return of the Ancient Ones by Empress Verdiachi Washita, in that book, she says that we are the X-Men. Because she knew. A very wise empress, she knew. Yes, she knew. And so when they say that we have the male energies and the patriarchal energies, it's just it's that. It's the same. It's the same. It's the same. It is what it is. We are who we state that we are. Okay? Just one moment, Morris. Hold for.
Do you really believe the bullshit that this woman is pushing out tonight? Oh,
Stupid ass Pauline.
He said he ordered it for his parents or his grandparents.
Okay. Please give it back to them. Don't. Okay. So, Moors, this is why we were called that, because
you don't want your chicken, Pauline? Get your Popeye's chicken, girl.
Just one moment. So, this, Morris, is why we are called.
That Popeye's chicken, girl. Yum, yum. Get you some poke.
Just one moment.
Oh. Yeah, you don't have a son named Gary?
Okay. So, this is why there's no such thing as sovereign citizens, but okay, Islam. Yes. So, we Moors.
Did you get a double anchovy pizza earlier?
I'll call the guy. So is that food for them too? Yeah.
Is that you all doing that?
Yeah, that's right.
You know, Ray, just one moment. Okay, so order in the court. Anyway, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. Just take it in the kitchen. It's the foreigners that the subjects that are on this call that come in. They're sending stuff here. So, with that being stated, I want to yield the floor to the empresses so that they can continue with the housing the housing, my consort is really cutting up over there, with the housing demonstration. That is very important, okay? Just one moment. Let's see. So Empress Angel, Empress Shasha, Empress Karima, Empress Rosetta. Woo! I am excited to hear from the empresses. I get to yield the floor and sit back and just take in all the energies and the love and the process. So I'm excited about that. And so I yield the floor. If there are nothing further from this grand court, I'll yield the floor to the empresses. Empresses, it's all on you. And I'm going to turn the presentment over. Empress Angel, should I turn it over to you? Or
yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay, we'll do that, the presentment piece. So without further ado, one thing really quickly, just right before that, Empress, I didn't want to forget this because this is important. Someone asked last time about being able to sign your mail. And here's a photo of the DNA helix, and we have ONA, so which is a little bit different. But this is where that mail, us being called the mail, comes from. We are the connector. Okay. Really quickly, yes, we can sign our mail, Moors. You can use your signature as the stamp. It should say, it should be autographed in blue, and then write out the words, and let's just read it. We'll just read it. Here is the link to what I'm about to read really quickly. Just one moment.
Come on, let the retard angel make it on with the.
Just a moment. Here. Paste. Okay. Okay. So let's just take a look real quick, just about 2 minutes really quickly to look at this, because I wanted to show this because someone asked about it last time. About being able to autograph your mail and send it forth. So we've restated this, but this is the guidelines for franked mail. Franked mail, we use Swiss francs as a part of our, this is more of the same, using our own sovereign status to send and receive mailings. Franked or congressional mail, postage payment, and detention of mail guidelines, okay? So I'm gonna, you can read this. This is government relations. You can read this on your, and do the study, and please do the research and dig in so that you will know how to do this process. And then your envelopes should state that you are the United States Congress or the United States Senate or the United States Supreme Court, because we all are. And I've been putting those things on my documents anyway. Franked mail consists of franked envelopes. So your envelope you will need to print your labels. Print your labels out, okay? Or flats and packages, and this flats and packages takes for us it's parcels, not packages, it's parcels. That takes care of anything that we're sending out that is not just a flat article, okay? With official franking labels pre-printed with franking elements in the upper right-hand corner. And franking elements, element is a natural word. So an element has to be something natural up in that corner, which means our sovereign autographs in blue with the words congressional member. So we would put CM, and we want to write it out, member for Congress. Okay, they used to put M.C. but we don't put that. We write it out. Put your autograph followed by, and then underneath it in all capital letters in blue ink, you put member for Congress. Or you can put congressional member, either one. Member for Congress is a good one. Or you can put Congress member. Okay. Congress member. And again, the word member is a trust word. It's a word that says that you are in trust with the people, not any corpses and deadness and all of that. The living people. Okay, that's a trust word. So everything that we write, all we're doing is connecting the trusts by mail, linking our trusts together, okay, to include, again, our subjects and those who are here to work, not to serve, but to work, okay? So this is more of the same. And then this coding right here, we talked about this coding previously. We'll talk about it some more in the coming weeks. And then here is types of franked mailings. Frank means free. We talked about the word free because that is, again, our trust in full operation. Okay? So we're going to, I'm going to now yield the floor to the empresses so that they can do what they do. We love what they do. I just wanted to be sure that we could, that we got all of these points in beforehand. So without further ado, empresses, Islam. Let me send over. Just one moment. Just one moment.
Hey, Angel, honey, you going to tell us about that conveyance that you ordered?
Okay, so
Angel, tell us all about that conveyance that you commanded. We want to hear all about that.
Okay. Here, let me. Does she want to switch presenter? Yes. Okay. Let me know when you respond.
Can you see? There we go.
There you
Islam.
are. Islam Empress.
I'm trying to get in.
Oh, okay. I will.
It knocked me out again.
It's unlocked, Empress. Come on in.
Okay. Can everyone see my screen?
Islam. I can see it. A little blurry, though.
Yes, Mom. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to leave it open for just a little while longer while the empresses are preparing.
I'm ready whenever everyone else is ready.
Are the other empresses, Empress Shasha, Empress
Islam, Karima Bay at Virginia. I'm here.
Yes. Thank you. I'm so glad to hear your voice.
Thank you. Likewise.
Islam.
Islam, Shasha, and Bay.
There she is.
That energy, there's something about that energy.
Islam, I'm here as well.
Islam, thank you, Empress Rosetta. Glad to hear your voice as well. Here, let's go. I yield.
Islam. Okay. And so we left off in part 1, 7, public domicile works program payment to owner. A, when prepaid. 1, during the term of the domicile enlightenment prepaid affidavit, the public domicile works program must make monthly domiciling assistance payments to the owner on behalf of the
Not only
clan,
you ugly, you retarded. You retarded and ugly.
All associated national
retarded.
Groups at the beginning of each month. 2, the public domicile work program must pay domiciling assistance prepayments promptly when due to the owner. 3, if domiciling assistance prepayments are not prepaid promptly when due after the first 2 calendar months of the domiciling enlightenment prepaid affidavit term, the public domicile work program shall pay the owner penalties if all of the following circumstances apply. 1, such penalties are in accordance with generally accepted practices and law as applicable in the local domiciling market, governing penalties for late payments of rent by a heir tenant. 2, it is the owner's practice to charge such penalties for assisted and unassisted heirs tenants. And 3, the owner also charges such penalties against the heirs tenants for late payment of clan, tribe, pride, and all associated national groups. Prepayment to owner. However,
good thing you got your GED. You can almost read.
However,
I'm so glad
the public domicile work program shall not be obligated to pay any late payment penalty if domicile national development determines that late payment by the public domicile work is due to factors beyond the public domicile work program control. Moreover, the public domicile work program is not be obligated to pay any late payment. No, gotta get rid of the is not obligated. Okay, there we go. Is not obligated to pay any late payment fees if domiciling assistance payments by the public work domicile work program are delayed or denied as a remedy for owner breach of domicile enlightenment prepaid affidavit, including any of the following public domicile works program remedies: recovery of overpayments, suspension of domiciling assistance payments, absent or reduction of domiciling assistance payments, termination of domiciling assistance prepayments, and termination of the contract. Domiciling assistance prepayments shall only be prepaid to the owner while the clan, tribe, pride, and all associated national groups are dwelling in the domicile under the term of the domicile enlightenment prepaid affidavit. The public domicile work program shall end when a domiciling assistance payment to the owner for any month after the month when the clan, tribe, pride, and all associated national groups move out. B. Owner compliance with domicile enlightenment prepaid affidavit. Unless the owner has performed provisions of the domicile enlightenment prepaid affidavit, the owner does not have the right to receive domicile assistance prepayments in the domicile enlightenment prepaid affidavit. C. Amount of public domicile work prepayment to owner. The amount of the monthly public domicile works program domiciling assistance prepayment to the owner shall be determined by the public work domicile work in accordance with domicile national development requirements for the heir tenancy affidavit within the voucher program. The amount of public domicile works domiciling assistance prepayment is subject to change during the domicile enlightenment prepaid affidavit term in accordance with domicile national development requirements. The public domicile works must notify the clan, tribe, pride, and all associated national groups and the owner of any changes in the amount of domiciling assistance payment. 3. The domiciling assistance prepayment for the first month of the domiciling enlightenment prepaid affidavit length of time shall be prorated for a partial month. D. Application of payment. The monthly domiciling assistance payment shall be credited against the monthly prepayment to the owner for the usage agreement. E. Limit of public domicile works responsibility. 1. The public domicile works is only responsible for making domiciling assistance payments to the owner in accordance with domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit and domicile national development requirements for any heir tenancy affidavit within the voucher program. 2. The public domicile works program shall not pay any portion of the prepayment to the owner in excess of the domiciling assistance prepayment. The public domicile works program shall not pay any other claim by the owner against the clan, tribe, pride, and all associated national groups. F. Overpayment to owner. If the public domicile works program determines that the owner is not entitled to domiciling assistance prepayment or part of it, in addition to other remedies, may deduct the amount of overpayment from public domicile work, any amounts due the owner, including amounts due to any Section 8 assistance usage agreement. Owner validation. During the term of usage agreement, the owner assures that A. The owner is maintaining the domicile and premises in accordance with domicile and quality agreement. B. The usage agreement is chartered to the heir tenant. The usage agreement includes the heir tenancy affidavit addendum, Part C of the domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit, and is in accordance with the domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit and program requirements. The owner has provided the usage agreement to the public domiciles work program, including any changes of the usage agreement. C. The prepayment to the owner does not exceed prepayment agreement by the owner for charters for comparable, unassigned, unassisted domiciles within the premises. D. Except for the prepayment to owner, the owner has not received and will not receive any prepayments or other considerations from the clan, tribe, pride, and all associated national groups. The Public Domicile Works Program, National Development, or any other public or private source for prepayment assistance of the usage agreement during the domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit term. The clan, tribe, pride, and all associated national groups do not currently own or have any current interest in the domicile. F. To the best of the owner's knowledge, the members of the clan, tribe, pride, and all associated national groups reside in the domicile, and the domicile is the clan, tribe, pride, and all associated national groups only domicile. The owner, including a principal or other interested party, can be the parent, child, guardian, grandparent, grandchild, sister, or brother of any member of the clan, tribe, pride, and all associated national groups. The Public Domicile Works Program determines and has notified all people, owner, and clan, tribe, pride, and all associated national groups of such determination that approving usage agreement of the domicile, notwithstanding such relationship, would provide reasonable choice for a clan, tribe, pride, and all associated national group members who is a person with disabilities. So, just to recap what we were reading for people who aren't aware, I should have done that before, but hindsight. So this is a affidavit prepaid program that we had started and have edited, and I'm just going back to the top to show that we have rewritten and reconstructed the Public Works Section 8, that is the Public Usage Welfare Program, because everything is for the people, and Section 8 is Section 8 for the Constitution, for the world, at Earth. And so this is that I am reading, and the other empresses will also. So we are now going over the fine print of the document because we've gone over the previous part on Part A or Part 1, going over this content, and this would be the affidavit of information that would be filled out to participate in the program. And so, yes. So this is just, a checklist of utilities and appliances that the owner and or creditor would be, using at the domicile. And so I stated owner because through this program you can be the owner of the domicile. And so just stating that for the record. And so yes. And so, just usage agreements for the affidavit, so on and so forth. I will put the link back in the chat afterwards. So, yes, as well. So going back to where I left off. Oh, and I just for the record, I stated the AA 222141, which is the tax exempt, and It's our account code, our 8-digit code, and I put reconstructed here. And then on this side, it's we spelled it out, form, domicile, national development, the code on the handbook. And so it's long. So I leave. Dear God, did I leave off here?
You had
I
read
think I did.
the end of that. Mm-hmm.
So I'm here, right? I think I am. Yes.
Yeah.
During the term of usage agreement, the owner assures that the owner is maintaining the domicile and premise in accordance with domicile quality agreement. Did I read this already? I think I did. I'm here at 9. Yes, there we go. Sorry. Should have remembered. Prohibition of discrimination. In accordance with acceptable equal opportunity status, executive orders and regulations. The owner must not discriminate against any person because of race, color, religion, sex, national origin, age, familial status, or disability in connection with the domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit. B. The owner must cooperate with the Public Domicile Works and Domicile National Development in conducting equal opportunity compliance reviews and compliant investigation in connection with the domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit. 10. Owner's dishonor of domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit. A. Any of the following actions by the owner will be reviewed, including a principal or other interested party is a dishonor of the domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit by the owner. 1. If the owner has violated the written committees in the domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit, including the owner's obligation to maintain the domicile in accordance with domicile and quality agreement. 2. If the owner has not honored their commitment in other domiciling assistance prepayment usage agreements for Section 8. 3. If the owner has committed fraud, bribery, or any other corrupt or criminal act in connection with current domiciling assistance program. 4. For projects with buyer's assistance insurance by Domicile National Development or loans made by Domicile National Development. If the owner has not performed their obligations in accordance with the regulations for the applicable prepaid domicile insurance as agreed. 5. If the owner has engaged in any violent criminal activity. B. If the Public Domicile Work Program determines that a breach has occurred, the Public Domicile Work Program may exercise rights and remedies in the Domicile Entitlement Prepaid Affidavit or any other available rights and remedies for such breach. The Public Domicile Work Program will notify the owner of the decision, including a brief statement of the reasons for the determination. The notice by the Public Domicile Work Program to the owner may require the owner to take corrective action as verified or determined by the Public Domicile Work Program by a certain date prescribed in the notice. C. The Public Domicile Work Program rights and remedies for owner breach of the Domicile Entitlement Prepaid Affidavit include recovery of overpayments suspension of domicile assistance prepayments, absent or other reduction of domiciling assistance payments, termination of domiciling assistance payments, and termination of the domicile prepaid affidavit. D. The Public Domicile Work Program may seek and obtain additional relief by judicial order or action, including specific performance, other injunctive relief, or orders for damages. E. Even if the clan, tribe, pride, and all associated national group continues to live in the domicile, the Public Domicile Work Program may exercise any rights and remedies for owner's breach of domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit. The Public Domicile Work Program exercise or non-exercise of any rights or remedy for owner's breach of domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit is not a waiver of the right to exercise that or any other right or remedy at any time. 11. Public Domicile Work Program and Domicile National Development access to premises and owners' records. Okay, so this part right here, we have gone over, and so it's important to pay attention because this part especially is, how should I say, to give protection to the people, and, you know, knowing that we're supposed to be in honor at all points in time, and knowing that we are the government, and will be held accountable. So
blah 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 blah.
Putting that out there as well. The owner must provide any information pertaining to the domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit that the Public Domicile Work Program or Domicile National Development may reasonably require. The Public Domicile Work Program Domicile National Development, upon investigation, shall have investigative related access to the domicile and the premises, and to all accounts and other records of the owner that are relevant to the domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit, including the right to examine or audit the records and make copies. The owner does have the right to grant such access to computerized or other electronic records and to any computerized equipment or facilities containing such records, and is obligated to provide any information or assistance needed to access the records per Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution for the United States. So, as I previously stated, this part here is, in lieu of, accountability for the people at all points in time. So that's why it was restated and taken out all of the corrupt language and such, and so as well. So 12, beneficiary creditor rights. Oh, this part was definitely restated also. So A, the clan, tribe, pride, and all associated national groups is a party to the creditor party beneficiary of Part B of the Domicile Entitlement Prepaid Affidavit. The clan, tribe, pride, and all associated national groups may enforce any provisions of Part B and may exercise any rights of remedy by way of the owner or public domicile Works program. Right here where it says by way of, it has said against. So we are not against anyone. We are for. So I restated it and stated it to be by way of the owner, because the owner will, be us, right? So we just seek for remedy and for accountability, right? So that part. And so B. Oh, Empress, did you want to state something? Empress Light?
No, I was just agreeing with that we're not against anyone. That was beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Empress.
You're welcome. B. The heirs, tenant, or the public domicile work program may enforce the tenancy addendum, Part C of the domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit by way of the owner and may exercise any right or remedy by way of the owner in the tenancy addendum. C. The public domicile work program does not assume any responsibility for injury to or any liability to any person injured as a result of the owner's actions or failure to act in connection with management of the domicile or the premises or with implementation of the domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit, or as a result of any other action or failure to act by the owner. D. The owner is not the representative for the Public Domicile Works Program, and the Domicile Entitlement Prepaid Affidavit does not create or affect any relationship between the Public Domicile Works Program and any bank used by the owner or any people, persons used by the owner in connection with maintenance of the usage agreement or the premise of the implementation of the domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit.
Islam. May I interject?
Yes.
This is Karima Bay at Virginia. Can we take a moment to see if the Moors have any questions or if they see anything in the language that they want to make suggestions about? Islam.
Yes, sure. The floor is open. The table's always open, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they know that. One of the nobles made a note that there was a number missing in the non-tax code AA 222141. So we want to make that correction as well and see if other Moors have any suggestions or if they caught anything that we need to make corrections on. Islam.
Oh, the one, I see you. 141, gotcha. Okay.
Islam Moors, is there anyone that would like to make any suggestions?
Islam.
Or have any input?
And Bay here.
Islam, Empress.
The way that reads, it reads as if, like, I'm looking forward to this program for myself, for domicile, but it reads as if the hybrids are the owners, because it says tribes, clans, and heirs. So I'm confused who the players are in this document. Are the heirs applying for assistance from? It doesn't sound like it's coming from our government, so I'm confused. Does that make any sense?
I see where you're coming from. So where did I leave off? Let me just make sure I can. 13, okay. All right, I left off at 13. So I'm going to just go back to the top of the document and read this bit right here. Yes.
When they say owner, are they talking about the Moors or whoever think they own the dwellings now? Who is that person?
Well, we're people, and this is we are the people, and this is our restated voucher program for the Department for National. Wait, let me just read this proper. The Department for Domiciling and National Development. Domiciling National Development. And so I'm just going to keep reading it. Is authorized to collect the information required on this affidavit for Section 8 for the United States Law for Domiciling, 1937, 42 United States Code 1437F. The collection of clan, tribe, pride, and all associated national group members. And this was a stated suggestion by a noble who wanted to change the word from family member to be inclusive for all clan, because we are a clan, we're not a family. And, you know, we also know ourselves to be a tribe. And so pride would be another word associated with these two previous, and all associated national group members, because, you know, we are a collective. So this right here was a stated suggestion by a noble, and so that's why it reads as such, like I stated, to be all-inclusive to every people at Earth. And so appellation names and mailing locations and creditor fiduciary appellation and prepaid mailing locations is affirmed. The information is used to provide Section 8 domiciliary national work entitlement and prepaid program for the domiciling national voucher program. In the affidavit for domiciling assistance payments, the information also specifies what utilities and appliances are to be supplied by the creditor fiduciary, and what utilities and appliances are to be supplied by heirs, tenant. Domicile National Development may disclose this information to Moorish, federal, state, and local authorities, and when relevant to civil, criminal, or regulatory investigations and prosecutions. Sorry. Yes. So, yes.
The response to her question about, it sounds like, so I'll say this about who is the owner. The owner is those who are competent to govern the property. That's who the owners are. But we know that all property belongs to the heirs since time immemorial. And that's why owners, even in our state, owners don't get title to the properties because we, the government, the people, have the title. But if there are some modern Europeans who govern better than we do, and I'm gonna put that out there, and all who want to chew on that can chew on that. That's not for you, Empress Cynthia. I'm putting that out there in general, just so that we know what's really going on here. That if there are any modern Europeans in their proper status on our land who govern a property better, then they'll be the owner of the property. Will they have the title to it? No, they won't ever have the title to it. The government has the title to all the land. The state does. The Empire State of Morocco has that. Okay, so this is a commercial situation right here, using our money system. But even our money system can be used by anybody because the properties are appropriated by way of our treasury. Okay, so now for the Moors out there who are thinking that even modern Europeans are left out of what we're doing, that's not true. They're not left out. If they can govern better than you can, then you get your game up, get your government study up. Okay, so and then govern better. And that's really what all of this has been. This has been a learning, remembering of who we really are, and that we do keep our word, and that we do govern the domiciles and the properties and things better than anyone else on earth. We've always been that. So with that, I yield the floor.
Gratitude. Islam. Does anybody else have anything they want to, get in better clarity on or go over something? Okay, I'm just going to go then back to 13 where I left off. And I'll go back and change the, changed it most likely. Oh, there they go. To 13. Here we go. Interest for the people. A. People are the sovereign receivers, ministers, beneficiaries, claimants, executors, trustees, creditors. Ah, yes, this part was definitely restated because this part was conflict of interest. I'm coming back to memory. And so it was saying that you can't be a public official or public, anybody, and then because they were trying to state that if you have a family member who is benefiting from the public, program, then they can't be influencing or having any stake in this, public domiciling and or making them have any special privileges or anything of such that matter. And so after, deep meditation and understanding, that doesn't apply to us because we're the government at all points in time and we're the people at all points in time. We are the sovereign receivers, ministers, beneficiaries, claimants, executors, trustees, creditors. All right? So, and it's been stated time and time again that a government housing is supposed to have always been for the people, the government, right? So this whole Section 8 program that is in the Constitution stated is that so we can have, the best of the best and have it because it's ours, and it's been stated so eloquently in Section 8 Constitution, Islam. So going forward, number 1, any present or former people of the Public Domicile Work Program, except a Public Domicile Works president who is a participant in the program. 2, any people of the Public Domicile Work Program or any persons of Public Domicile Work Program who provides information or has the ability to influence decisions with respect to the program. 3, any person with title of public official, member of a government body or state or local legislator who exercises functions or responsibilities with respect to the program. Or 4, any de facto member of Congress of the United States. B, covered people may have a direct or indirect interest in the domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit or in any benefits or prepayments within the usage agreement. The following will be reviewed, including the interests of any immediate clan, tribe, pride, and all associated national group members of such covered individual. While such people are covered, there is a review process. C. Immediate clan, tribe, pride, and all associated national group members means the spouse, parent, including a step-parent, child, including a stepchild, grandparent, grandchild, sister or brother, including a stepsister or stepbrother of any covered people. The owner agrees and is responsible for assuring that no people, person, or entity has or will have a prohibited interest at execution of the domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit or at any time during the domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit term.
Islam. Where it says covered people, could we change the word covered throughout the document to aligned?
Okay. And so, does it come up again? I don't know how to search.
Yeah, it was up there at B, the first word in B.
Okay. I see. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And then it's also one more time in B, I believe. Once or twice. 1, 2. Yeah, twice in B.
Okay. Islam, gratitude. Okay. D. The owner agrees and is responsible for assuring that no people, person, or entity has or will have a prohibited interest at execution of the domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit or at any time during the domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit term. E. If a prohibited interest occurs, the owner shall promptly and fully disclose such interest to the Public Domicile Works and Domicile National Development. F. The interest that might cause conflict is in this section and may be waived by the Domicile National Development Office for a good reason. G. People for the Congress for the United States who are party to the specific usage agreement may be admitted to any share or part of the domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit or to any benefits which may arise from it. Islam. 14. Assignment of the domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit. The owner may not assign the domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit to a new owner without the prior written agreement of the Public Works Domicile Program. B. If the owner requests Public Domicile Work Program information to assign the domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit to a new owner, as agreed, the owner shall provide information to the Public Domicile Works Program that is pertinent to the process to the proposed assignment. The domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit may not be assigned to a new owner that has not met qualifications, suspended, or subject to a limited detail of participation in the domicile national development regulations. See Code 24 of the Federal Regulations, Part 24. The domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit may not be assigned to a new owner if the domicile national development has prohibited such assignment because 1. There is a lawful action against the owner or proposed new owner for violation of the Fair Domiciling Act or other equal opportunity requirements, and such action is pending, or a lawful Article 3 court has decided that the owner or intended new owner violated the Fair Domiciling Act or change this to law. Or other equal opportunity requirements. The domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit may be assigned to the new owner if the new owner is an heir. F. The public domicile work program may deny approval to assign the domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit if the owner or proposed new owner, including a principal or other interest party, 1. has violated obligations within a domiciling assistance prepayment usage agreement within the Section 8, 2. has committed fraud, bribery, or any other corrupt or criminal act in connection with the domiciling program, 3. has engaged in any violent criminal activity, 4. has a practice for not performing usage agreement terms with the domiciling quality agreement for domiciles with usage agreements with the Section 8 heirs tenant-based programs, or non-performance with application domiciling standards for domicile usage agreement with project-based Section 8 assistance for domicile usage agreements within the domiciling program. 5. has a practice for failing to terminate usage agreements of heirs, tenants, assistance with public works assisted domiciling program for activity engaged in by the heir tenant, any member of the household, a guest, or any within the control of any member of the household that A. threatens the right to peaceful enjoyment for the premise by other residents. B. threatens the health or safety of residents of the employees of the Public Domicile Works Program or of owner employees or other persons engaged in management of domiciling. Threatens the health or safety of or the right to peaceful enjoyment of their residence by persons residing in the immediate vicinity of the premises. Or D is drug-related criminal activity or violent criminal activity. 6, has a history of practice or making agreements that fail to meet safe domiciling standards, or 7, has terminated all corporate contracts as evidenced by de facto state or local real estate taxes, fines, or assessments. G, the new owner must agree to be bound by the bound by and comply with the domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit, the agreement must be in writing and in a form acceptable to the public domicile work program. The new owner must give the public domicile work program a copy of the executed agreement. Now, 15 has been restated, and this might, foreclosure, might have some people, having negative energy or thoughts or, past, experiences. So when overstood, this part right here is for the benefit of the people, for the people. So, foreclosure, 15. In the case of any foreclosure, the immediate successor in interest in the property pursuant to the foreclosure shall assume such interest subject to the usage agreements between the prior owner and the heir tenant and to the domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit between the prior owner and the public domicile works program for the occupied unit. This provision does not affect any state law or local law that provides long-term periods or other additional protections for heirs and tenants. So this whole bit here is carried on in section C, as Empress Sasha or Empress Karima will be reading, but the emphasis on this part right here, as I stated, is will be followed up later. But this is to protect the people, because this part is here because of accountability. Because it stated somewhere over here about the owner banking at certain banks and such. So let's say we have an owner, and we talked about this earlier when Empress asked about the question, and who is this for? And Empress Light stated, well, if the hybrids can outgovern you, then they outgovern you. But we have to step up and do better. But that also falls into accountability, and for the point of, if a previous owner had been in foreclosure of a property, then you become the new owner. This protects you and the tenants at the property, because the previous owner and the default of the so-called foreclosure cannot in any way harm or evict essentially any of the tenants, and they must adhere to the entitlement prepaid affidavit and the domiciling works program. So this is what this is stating for the 15 foreclosure. I'm putting emphasis on this part because I feel as though it needs to be expressed so people can know why this is here, because when I first seen this part, I was like, wait a minute, we don't do foreclosure because this is our land, this, that, and the third. Though when overstanding deeper and further, accountability and how holding people accountable and how it must be expressed at all points in time, and expressed on paper at all points in time. And this is just the fine print for this affidavit. So that's why it's here, and it will be further stated. Yes, Islam.
So there is such a thing when we are dealing in commerce, because see, our government and our jurisdiction has everything in it. Our jurisdiction has capitalism in it. It has sovereign status where you just live off the land if that's what you choose to do. But if you choose to engage in the jurisdiction that is commerce, then there is accountability in the process. In our sovereign status in all lowercase letters, we don't even need money. Everything is already ours, and it's a wrap. But if you go into the all caps, or if you're using the in capitis diminutio minima, the in capitis diminutio minima, which is the first letter capitalized and the rest of the letters lowercase, that's the people too. That's the people, as in the people of this whole place, this whole land. Whereas the all lowercase letters is the sovereigns, okay? But then when you go into all caps and you start talking about renting places and buying places or doing exchanges and using commerce and using money to do things, then there is accountability where foreclosure, if Moors are not responsible, we can't govern the estate. That's the part that's what the system was put there for. The system is put there so that we govern our estate properly, and we have processes in place to make it so that we don't have to fight with anybody about anything. And then that's why our courts are here. Our courts will make sure that there's peace on the land with regard. So yes, if Moors don't do the exchange, the proper exchange on the public record, then yes, there are consequences for that in terms of the properties. The properties have to go to, they're governed by those who are competent to do so. And competence is just what we're doing right here, right now. Islam, I yield.
Islam, it's Noble Phoenix. Just I think you just hit on it though. When I heard you mention foreclosure, my red alert went up. Okay, because I'm like, look, there shouldn't be no more foreclosures on our land. Period. Why? Because number one, you ain't got no doggone mortgage. Number one. But I do get your point when you say the proper exchange. But if the land and everything on it is really ours anyway, and they were just stewards temporarily until we woke up to claim back our inheritance, whatever property we got should not be subject to a foreclosure at all, ever, in my humble opinion. I don't, but I do get the point when you're saying if we don't make the proper exchange, meaning using our lawful money, okay, so that the title, and we can put them aside, okay, here's some lawful money, go away, I'm claiming my property, more or less, okay?
Yes.
All right, so we're on the same page. I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you so much. Peace.
Thank you for that, Noble Phoenix. And to that point, in just to camelback on what he's saying, if you really think about it more, the previous foreclosure process wasn't really a process either, because the properties are still here, they're still on our land, and the slate has been wiped clean, and this is Jubilee. Everybody's getting a fresh start here. Okay, so that previous foreclosure process wasn't real either, because we still had the title to the land even then. We just didn't know how to use the system, and that previous system was not for us. That was just to show us how to do our own system. And that's what we're doing now, is solidifying our own system further, and not solidifying because it's already solid, but clarifying, adding further clarity to our system. Islam, I yield the floor.
Islam, gratitude. Yes, and listening to what was just mentioned and stated, that reminds me of our previous congressional meetings that we've had about if a heir had a property and they didn't have anyone for them to pass it down to in their line lineage within their clan and tribe, then the estate would be reverted back to the universal trust. And so because they've had transition, so therefore they're not able to maintain the transactions and such, so that whole bit. So but it never left our estate. It's always been here, and so it's always been here. So that's why this whole bit is for us, Islam. So now I am, no, I do have a bit more. Then I'm almost done. Yes, okay, I'll just finish these two up. Okay, 16. Written notices. Any notice by the public domicile work or the owners in connection with the usage agreement must be in writing. Islam. 17. Entire agreement interpretation. The domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit contains the entire agreement between the owner and the public domicile works. B. The domicile entitlement prepaid affidavit shall be interpreted and implemented in accordance with all the statutory requirements and with all domicile national development requirements, including the domicile national development program, regulations, and code 24 of the Federal Regulations, Part 982. Islam. So with that, I turn the table to Empress Sasha or Karima. Who's next?
Islam.
Oh, Islam.
This is Noble Timothy Hassan Bay, Virginia. Thank you, sis, Empress. My question is, does that include mobile homes and trailers?
Well, that would be stated up further. Let me see. I know where it's at. Okay, right here. So, manufactured home space rental by clan, tribe, pride, and all associated national groups. Cooperative domiciling and home ownership option with Section 8. The main regulation for this program is Article 1, Section 8, Article 6, Section 1 of the Constitution for America. So, so that would be considered special domiciling types. So you can definitely amend this special domiciling type and add in what you just asked and mentioned as far as mobile homes and such. Sure. Islam.
Shasha Abe, I have a question with regards to that question. Where you are, it starts with, however, this form may be used for the following special domiciling types. Manufactured home space rental. Could you go up, because it suggests that, however, suggests that something before speaks to manufactured home. I mean, do you get what I'm saying? What does the paragraph before say? Because it begins with however, it suggests whatever came before.
Let's see.
I'm just...
Okay, so right here, used for special domiciling types. In addition to use for the elite Section 8 prepaid affidavit voucher program, this form must also be used for the following special domiciling types, which are voucher program varieties for special needs, single room area in the domiciling, congregate domiciling, group home, shared domiciling, and manufactured home rental by and such when this form is used. So yeah, we can
you know, it seemed like there was something missing because of that however, so what came before it speaks to it there, doesn't it?
Yes, and then it carried over to here as well. Yeah. So we can state, and at every location, territory, you know, jurisdiction, providence, however you state, you know, whatever it is you you're at, you can amend and make this for your benefit. And so if you choose to domicile, in a earthship home, you can put that on there and domicile there. And so, yeah. Any other questions?
Thank you, sis. That sort of simplified it.
It's long. And with that, I yield and turn the table. Empress Sasha or Empress Karima, you want to go next?
Empress Sasha, I can go next, but if you would like to go next, you can.
Either way, go ahead.
Okay. So this is, let's see.
How do I
Empress
give
Angel?
this back on?
Okay. Empress Angel, I was going to ask for some assistance. I haven't presented from this view before. Can you assist with how I get the document up on my side?
Sure. I am looking to.
If you'll pass the presenter back to me, I can pass it to Empress Karima.
Okay.
I am at the moment trying to figure out how to give that to you.
You know what? I may be able to do it from here. I think I did it. Let me see. And then just one moment.
Okay.
Just a moment.
Empress Angel, what number did you leave off on?
Oh, you're at Part C.
Okay, thank you.
Empress Karima, do you see the prompt there?
Just a moment. Just a moment. I do.
Okay. So you should be able to bring your screen up. There it is. We can see it.
Okay, you see it?
It just
All
needs to
right.
be made a little bit bigger.
Okay, sure. I'm just looking for section C.
Noble Timothy, what were you? I'm sorry, and I yield the floor. Noble Timothy,
okay.
I believe had a question or something.
Yes, I was wondering whether or not this document will be under the video.
Yes, I'll
it may not be under. Okay, okay. Yeah.
Well, I say that I would share it in the chat.
Please do.
Okay.
That would be great.
Sure.
Noble Timothy, are you able to see the chat to get the document?
No, sis, I'm on the phone. I guess that's why it's acting.
Okay. Maybe the link can be emailed to you.
Okay.
Yes, we can do that.
That'd be excellent.
Oh, great. Empress Karima, I yield the floor to the Empresses.
Could you email that first?
Yes, we can do that. Empress Shasha or Empress Angel, will you be able to get that email out of the chat?
Oh, yes, I can.
Okay, thank you.
Did he put it in the chat yet?
No, I'm not on the computer, the phone.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
we'll
whenever
need
you
to.
get a chance.
I'm just on the line. I can give it to you.
Okay, 1 second. I'm ready when you are.
The fiat system is alive and well. The ancestors are lying to you, and La Mama Marichel is still in jail. Oh.
Okay, the first letter is F.
Okay.
E as in egg. R as in ring. V as in Victor. O as in oil. R as in Ray. M as in man. A as in apple. K as in kite. E as in egg, and aura as in ring, at yahoo.com.
You said at yahoo.com?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'll be sending you.
I'll be grateful.
Islam. All right, Empress Krima.
Okay.
Take it away.
Okay. And
I get back.
What was that, Noble? Okay.
Oh, I was saying
Morris,
I give back the table. That's what I was saying.
Okay. Thank you. All right, Morris, sometimes I tend to speed read through documents, so please let me know if I'm reading too fast so I can slow down. Part C of Domicile Entitlement Prepaid Affidavit, Tennessee Addendum, Section 8 Voucher Program. The owner has usage agreement with the heir tenant for domiciling by the heir tenant's clan, tribe, pride, and all associated national groups with assistance for a tenancy in the Section 8 Domiciling Choice Voucher Program for the United States Department for Domiciling and National Development. B, the owner has entered into the Domiciling Assistance Payments Agreement with the Public Domicile Works Program and the Voucher Program. Moreover, the Domicile Entitlement Prepaid Affidavit, the Public Domicile Works Program, will make domiciling assistance payments to the owner to assist the heir tenant with the usage agreement from the owner. Number 2, the usage agreement. The owner has given the Public Domicile Works Program a copy of the usage agreement, including any revisions agreed by the owner and the heir tenant. The owner affirms that the terms of the usage agreement are in accordance with all provisions of the Domicile Entitlement Prepaid Affidavit, and that the usage agreement includes the tenancy addendum. The heir tenant shall have the right to enforce the tenancy addendum by way of the owner. If there is any conflict between the tenancy addendum and any other provisions of the usage agreement, the language of the tenancy addendum shall control. 3, use of the domicile. During the usage agreement term, the clan and all associated national groups will domicile at the property with assistance from the voucher program. B, the composition of the clan and all associated national groups must be approved by the Public Domicile Works Program. The clan, tribe, pride, and all associated national groups must promptly inform the Public Domicile Works Program of the birth, adoption, or court-appointed custody of a child. Other persons may be added to the household with prior written affidavit to the owner and the Public Domicile Works Program. Just a moment. Okay. The domicile may only be used for shelter, and I changed that. I think the word residence was there, and so I changed that. I hope that was appropriate. The domicile may only be used for shelter by the Public Domicile Works Program approved clan and all associated national groups. The domicile must be the clan and all associated national groups only shelter. People and clan and all associated national groups may not engage in legal profit-making activities incidental to primary use of the domicile for shelter by members of the clan and all associated national groups. The heir tenant may not substitute the usage agreement or let the domicile. So I've referred to the original document because I wasn't familiar with what let the domicile meant. So I thought it was a typo or something in the document, but it was correct. So I'll restate that. The heir tenant may not substitute the usage agreement or let the domicile. So I'll look into that further to see what that means. I think it just means they can't lease out the document, sublease, or anything of that nature.
Right. Yeah. That's
Okay.
what that means, Empress, if I may interject. And
Yes.
and that is a no-no when they're leasing in the first place.
Okay. Thank you.
It's Mom. I have a question.
Sure.
When you said, so they can't have, from my understanding, we're doing this, right? So my question is, can they have a business, a home business, or a home place of worship?
That's a good question. The little bit that I know about Section 8, no, the tenants are not supposed to be doing any kind of business activities in the property. It's just supposed to be for living, day-to-day living, no business activities or anything of that nature. Did anyone have anything to add?
Yeah, my question would be, if we're doing it, why couldn't that be something that we would allow?
So may I interject with regard to that?
Yes, please.
So there's only a specific portion of the domicile if it were allowed, and that's between the tenant and the owner. That's something that the tenant and the owner have to agree to prior to moving in. But even with Section 8, I believe there is like one room that can be used for business or whatever, but then the rest of the domicile was supposed to be a place where you live or you domicile, you reside there.
Correct.
You know. So the place cannot be solely a business or place of worship. If people want to come together and worship in that one room, but it can't be something that's advertised out everywhere like a full-fledged business. You know, so it's my understanding that with Section 8, you know, you can do a small amount of that, but nothing where it's considered a public place. Because that's the issue with Section 8. That's not a public, quote unquote, public building, so to speak, where people can just come in and out.
Islam, I have a question.
Of course.
Okay. Excuse me. I think I must have missed something at the very beginning when we started talking about the whole National Home Program, Section 8, whatever the whole thing is called. From maybe the previous video, and this is a continuation of that. So I may have missed something. But who is the target audience? Because as you know, heirs to the estate, none of us should be really trying to apply for any kind of Section 8 or trying to be in a situation like that. We should be all obviously trying to get our own houses, okay, and domiciles, whatever you call them. Unless for some reason, you know, maybe the person is just, okay, I don't want to have my own individual house because I don't have to take care of the lawn. I want to be in an apartment. And they like that lifestyle. That's okay. But for the most part, I'm trying to understand something that I missed, and just please fill me in quickly on that part, but I haven't gone into a whole lot of detail.
Mm-hmm.
Who's trying to qualify for a Section 8? Because I'm thinking Section 8 from the old Section 8, and I'm saying, how is that still applicable to us unless we are the owner of the building that we're going to bring in some Section 8 people? But other than that, I don't see why I missed something. So you see what I'm saying? Go ahead, please.
If I may.
Please.
So not all heirs are competent to govern their own domicile, and we see that all the time. Not everybody is competent to do that, nor do they want to do that. There are some heirs that are coming straight from, quote unquote, the streets, living on the street, so to speak, who are not competent to be the owner of a domicile because they haven't learned yet how to care for a domicile. And so those that do know how to do that we're assisting those who are not quite there yet. But you can kind of look at, even from the last era, you can look and see that not everybody is there yet, and they cannot be homeless. They still have to have a place to stay, and that's why we're doing all that we're doing. All of these programs are for those who let's say in the last era they didn't fare so well. Okay, this era they're going to have a way to at least be comfortable and have a roof over their heads, and then as a nation, we'll, the competence will be the tools for competence will be put before them.
Islam, I get it, as well as those prisoners of war.
Yes,
in those camps coming back. Oh, okay, I get you. I knew about them, but I was thinking outside of them. Okay, and I can see where this would be beneficial. Okay, thank you for that clarity. Thank you.
Thank you, Empress Light.
Islam, and just quickly, are we fit to govern? That's the question. And I say yes. We say yes. We are fit to govern. Islam, I yield.
And E, the heir tenant may not assign the usage agreement or transfer the domicile. Okay. Section 4, prepayment to owner. The initial prepayment to the owner may not exceed the amount approved by the Public Domicile Works Program in accordance with Domicile National Development Program requirements. Changes in the prepayment to the owner shall be determined by the provisions of the usage agreement. However, the owner may not raise the prepayment during the initial usage agreement. During the usage agreement for the domicile, term of the usage agreement and any extension, the prepayment to the owner may at no time exceed the reasonable payment for a domicile as most recently determined or redetermined by the Public Domicile Works Program in accordance with the Domicile National Development requirements, or prepayments charged by the owner for comparable to unassisted domiciles within the premises. Did that make sense, Morris? Okay. Section 5, clan, tribe, pride, and all associated national groups payment to owner. A, the clan, tribe, pride, and all associated national groups are responsible for paying the owner any portion of the prepayment to the owner that is not covered, and I think we need to change covered. I believe that was the suggestion before. That is not in alignment. In alignment by the Public Domicile Works domiciling assistance payment. B, and we're still talking about the payment to the owner. B, each month the Public Domicile Works will make a domiciling assistance payment to the owner for the clan and all associated national groups in accordance with the Domicile Entitlement Prepayment Affidavit. The amount of the monthly domiciling assistance payment will be determined by the Public Domicile Works in accordance with Domicile National Development requirements for a tenancy through the Section 8 voucher program. Just a moment. The monthly domiciling assistance payment shall be credited toward the monthly, and I think the word against was there, and I changed it to toward. So the monthly domiciling assistance payment shall be credited toward the monthly prepayment to the owner for the domicile. The heir tenant is not responsible for paying the portion of prepayment to the owner. Let me change this. Covered in alignment. In alignment by the Public Domicile Works Program, domicile and assistance payment through the Domicile Entitlement Prepaid Affidavit between the owner and the Public Domicile Works Program. A Public Domicile Works Program failure to pay the domiciling assistance payment to the owner is not a violation of the usage agreement. The owner may not terminate the tenancy for non-payment of the public domicile works program domiciling assistance payment. So in other words, the owner cannot evict the tenant or the heir national group because the program did not give them the credit, give the owner the credit. E, the owner may not charge or accept from the clan or all associated national groups or from any other source any payment for the domicile in addition to the prepayment to the owner. Prepayment to the owner to include all domiciling works, maintenance, utilities, and appliances to be provided and prepaid by the owner in accordance with the usage agreement. The owner must immediately return any excess usage agreement payments to the heir tenant. Any questions so far, Morris? Okay, I'll continue. 6, other fees, and we don't have fees, so that should not be there. I will put prepayments. Islam? Okay. Other prepayments and charges. Prepayment to the owner does not include the cost of any meals or supportive services or furniture which may be provided by the owner. The owner may not require the heir, tenant, or clan, pride, any national groups members to pay charges for any meals or supportive services or furniture which may be provided by the owner. Non-payment of any such charges is not grounds for termination of tenancy. The owner may not charge the heir, tenant, extra amounts for items customarily included in prepayment to owner in the locality or provided at no additional cost to unsubsidized heirs, tenants, and the premises. Part 7 deals with maintenance, utilities, and other services. Maintenance. The owner must maintain the property and premises in accordance with the domiciling quality agreement. Excuse me. Okay. Maintenance and replacement must be in accordance with the standard practice for the building concerned as established by the owner. All right, so now we're going to talk about utilities and appliances. The owner must provide all the utilities needed to comply with the domiciling quality agreement. The owner is not responsible for a breach of the domiciling quality agreement caused by the heir or tenant's failure to A, pay for any utilities that are to be prepaid by the heir or tenant, or provide and maintain any appliances that are to be provided by the heir or tenant. Clan and all associated national groups damage. The owner is not responsible for a breach of the domiciling quality agreement because of damages beyond normal wear and tear caused by any member of the household or by a guest. Domiciling services. The owner must provide all domiciling services as agreed to in the usage agreement. All right, Section 8 talks about the termination of tenancy by the owner. So, the owner may only terminate the tenancy in accordance with the usage agreement and domicile national development requirements on grounds of or during the term of the usage agreement. The owner may only terminate the heir tenancy agreement because of serious or repeated violation of the usage agreement, law violations that imposes obligations on the heir tenant in connection with the usage agreement or use of the domicile and the premises, criminal activity or alcohol abuse. I apologize, Morris. I keep skipping over where I need to read, and now I need to find my place. Okay. Or other good cause, and other causes we'll be discussing in just a moment. That's in Section D. All right, so regarding criminal activity or alcohol use, the owner may terminate the tenancy during the term of the usage agreement if any member of the household, a guest, or another person within the person's control commits any of the following types of criminal activity. Any criminal activity that threatens the health or safety of or the right to peaceful enjoyment on the premises by other residents, including domicile caretaker staff domiciling on the premises. Any criminal activity that threatens the health or safety of or the right to peaceful enjoyment of their home by persons lodging, and I changed those two terms. I think residence was there, and so I changed it up a bit. Let me read that again. Any criminal activity that threatens the health or safety of or the right to peaceful enjoyment of their home by persons lodging in the immediate vicinity of the premises. Any violent criminal activity on or near the premises, or any alcohol, drug-related criminal activity in which the Klan and all associated national groups on or near the premises in which the Klan or all associated national groups refuses to address through consular court and rehabilitation. I thought that was interesting there, that
That's
we
good.
can provide some sort of intervention there, of course, through our Article III court to deal with matters of that nature.
Islam. I added that because I thought we should give the people opportunity to mitigate their problems instead of just throwing them out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, due process is indeed mitigation. No matter what the issue is, there has to be due process. Islam. Thank you for that, Empress Rosetta. That's thoughtful, and that's how we want to approach everything, is thoughtfully like that. Islam.
Islam. Any questions or suggestions, wisdom from the Moors at this point?
Someone did in the inbox ask, what is alcohol abuse? And my response to them was, anything that breaches the peace on the land. Anything that breaches the peace on the land. So, I'm leaving it broadly open like that because Moors who have any issues with anything like that, physicians, sometimes the ancestors can deal with them internally and deal with that, and other times they need assistance, and that assistance can come in many different forms, but all things will go through our court, in terms of if there is a breach of the peace on the land due to abuse. Islam.
Okay. The owner may terminate the program assistance during the term of the usage agreement if any of the Klan and all associated national groups is fleeing to avoid the tribunal or detention or confinement after conviction in a lawful Article III court for a violent crime that has caused injury or death that is a felony in the laws for the nation per Article 21 for the Treaty for Peace and Friendship, 1787 and 1836. Violating a condition of probation or parole expressed in national laws. The owner may terminate the tenancy for criminal activity by a clan, tribe, and all associated national groups in accordance with this section if the owner determines that the clan or national group has committed the criminal activity, regardless of whether the clan or national group has been arrested or convicted for such activity. The owner may terminate the program assistance during the term of the usage agreement if any clan or associated national groups of the household have engaged in abuse of alcohol that threatens the health, safety, or right to peaceful enjoyment of the premises.
Empress Karima.
Yes. Yes.
Someone has said that it should be 1836 and not 1863.
Okay. Let me go back there. 1836. Thank you for that.
Islam. Thank you, Empress.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let me state 4 again. I'll do that. Read that over. The owner may terminate the program assistance during the term of the usage agreement if any clan or national group of the household have engaged in abuse of alcohol that threatens the health, safety, or right to peaceful enjoyment of the premises by other people, persons. All right, so now we're at that section where it talks about other good cause for termination of tenancy. During the initial usage agreement term, other good cause for termination of tenancy must be something the clan and all associated national groups did or failed to do. During the initial usage agreement term or during any extension term, other good cause may include disturbance of neighbors, destruction of property, living or housekeeping habits that cause damage to the domicile or the premises. After the initial usage agreement term, such good cause may include the heir tenant's failure to accept the owner's offer of a new usage agreement or reformation of current usage agreement.
Blah, 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 fucking idiot.
The owner's desire to use the property for personal or clan and all associated national groups' use or for a purpose other than use as a domicile, or a business or economic reason for termination of the tenancy.
Islam. Empress?
Yes.
It is now right the hour here. If you want, we can take this up on Sunday and finish the document out on Sunday if you prefer.
That's fine. That's fine with me.
Whatever works best for you, Empress.
Well, okay, so since she put it that way, we're on page 18, so the document is 22 pages.
Okay. It's up to you.
I mean, I don't mind continuing on unless Empress Shasha or Empress Angel, they want to stop here. I don't know if Empress Shasha wants to take over here because I think it's getting close to that part where she's supposed to start her presentation.
I am here, and I'm actually in agreement with adjourning and taking this up again on Sunday.
Okay.
I'm open. It is 10 o'clock at this. I'm open, but I think it would be a preference to adjourn here and we continue on Sunday, and I would complete my presentation. So.
Okay.
Empress Karima, if you want to continue and then find a point that you feel comfortable stopping at.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, I'll stop right here at 6. So I was at 3C, and I'll stop here at 6. Okay.
Okay.
So let me read 3C again. A business or economic reason for termination of tenancy, such as sale of the property, renovation of the property, or the owner's desire to enter into a usage agreement for a higher payment. 5, the examples of other good cause in this paragraph do not preempt any state or local laws to the contrary. 6, in the case of an owner who is an immediate successor in interest pursuant to foreclosure during the term of the usage agreement, requiring the heir tenant to vacate the property prior to sale shall not constitute other good cause, except that the owner may terminate the tenancy effective on the date of transfer of the unit to the owner if the owner will domicile in the unit as a primary dwelling and has provided the heir tenant a notice to vacate at least 90 days before the effective date of such notice. And I'll yield there.
Islam Empress, thank you so much. This is much needed for our nation. It's time for us to govern the properties and things. Let me say that I want to thank specifically the matriarchs, Empress Shasha, Empress Angel, Empress Karima, Empress Rosetta, for their hard work on getting this piece together, because number one, when our nation sees the matriarchs working together in harmony like this, it gives us all a sense of security, myself included, that is just amazing. It adds to the security that we feel in knowing who we are. And so I want to thank the 4 empresses for spearheading this particular process. And we will continue the process on Sunday with Empress Shasha. And let me say also that on another note, if you're in these meetings and someone sends you something in the inbox that you think is weird or off or funny, sometimes it's the jesters, it's the court jesters. So
give it up. You're not going to get no free shit, no free rent. Prepaid to own is bullshit.
Just a moment. Just ignore it, delete it, and so on and so forth. So with that being stated, Moors, if you want to just thank the empresses, we do want to give honor where honor is due, especially when it comes to our nation's resources and the proper governance of these resources. And so we want to thank you to the empresses. Islam. Just one moment. I'm sorry. I think I hit the wrong button here. Just a moment.
And that's it. Overnight.
There it is.
Yeah.
Islam. Thank you, empresses, so much.
This one, is in trouble for listening to you, and you ain't never did this. You just tell other folks to do it. Okay. I mean, we suffer. What you doing here? Let us be
Islam. Peace and Grand Rising. Again on Sunday at 6 p.m. We'll meet again on Sunday. This is the adjournment. Peace and Grand Rising. Islam. At 6 p.m. Islam.
Grand Rising.
Peace and Grand Rising.
All right.
Peace and love.
Grand Rising, Moors. Grand Rising.
That's for the beast, the Moors.
Peace and Grand Rising.
Grand Rising, Moor. Islam. Love.